Welcome to the Overwhelm is Optional podcast, where we cut through the fog of overwhelm so you can see all the ways to start creating a life that works for you. Hello and welcome to this special series of episodes called A Turn of the Year Pause. If you'd like the accompanying workbook to go with this to help you, then please go to www.heidimark.co.uk/pause. Hello and welcome to Pause to Celebrate 2021. So this is the second in a special series of Turn of the Year episodes to help you reflect on the year, celebrate and identify what you want more of, and the opportunity to identify what you want less of, and to start dreaming in 2022. Now you might be thinking, if this is the second, then I should have done the first. And I would like to just turn that around. Shoulds are in general just heavy, and I'm not really about the heavy anymore. I'm trying to give up my shoulds. So yes, you could go and do episode 1 if you want to, or you're here now, so you could just listen and enjoy. To get the best out of this series, I highly recommend downloading the workbook to help you. It would also be great if you could manage to carve out space for yourself to messy journal out the questions. However, it's better that you're just here with or without the workbook, with or without proper space. Just being here is sometimes just enough. So it's up to you. I don't recommend putting it on your to-do list because I bet your to-do list is overloaded, but it's up to you. So this is my gift to you, to thank you for being here, for listening, for being part of my world. Last year I ran this as a workshop, a series of workshops, and this year I just wanted to put it out on the podcast so you can access it in your own time, whenever you want to. So yes, it's the turning of the year, and I'm doing this 2021 to 2022, but you might be thinking, but there's a week's gap between each episode, Heidi, that's far too long. And I would beg to disagree. I think the turning of the year for me is best enjoyed slowly. It's still very dark here in England, and it's still for me a time for battening down the hatches and retreating into that lovely silence and darkness that I'm lucky to have in my little part of the world. And I appreciate also that not everyone has that luxury. My children are grown men, so I'm in a different position to a lot of people. I'm really lucky that I can now prioritise myself in this way and have quite a long time to do this kind of work. So this series of podcasts allows you to do it in your time. So you may be listening while doing something else, and that's fine. If that is how you get to show up at the moment, you're here. Woohoo! Celebrate that. And this is exactly that. This episode is about celebrating you and identifying what you want to celebrate out of 2021. So there's a week between episodes because I want you to be able to do this slowly, and I don't want you to feel under pressure to catch up. I've missed an episode. Don't worry about it. Just be here in the best way you can for now. So I'm going to invite you to, if you can, carve out some space for you and either grab the workbook or grab a pen and paper. And otherwise, I just invite you to be here exactly as you are right now, allowing these questions to drift over you. There goes the recycling, the dogs attacking things. Can you hear the noise in the background? And that's life, hey? So I'm going to invite you to just let these questions wash over you, because often we get caught up in our heads really quickly and then the questions might feel overwhelming. So instead, just let them wash over you like the questions are washing through every cell in your body. And then allow answers to drift upwards and either come out via pen or just come out during the week, and that's why we're doing this slowly. That's why the episodes are during the turning of the year but a week apart. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that's helpful. This one's going to be quite short because we're actually just going to allow anything that comes to mind that is worth celebrating, that feels to you, that feels good from 2021, to help highlight that to the mind, because the mind tends to go, oh, 2021, terrible things happened. And, you know, we will always, until we retrain our minds, as humans, we tend to notice, to keep us safe, everything that could go wrong has gone wrong, all the doom and gloom. And that's what contributes to the overwhelm. So this is just an opportunity to allow to come to mind, to like drift to the surface of your awareness, the good stuff from 2021, as you come towards the end of the year, or even into 2022, it doesn't matter. And then I'm going to do a special turn of the year, pause to celebrate, neutral noticing practice with you, so that you can allow whatever's come to mind. And it's not going to be a complete list, and there isn't one right answer. It's just whatever comes to mind this time, and it will be different each time the questions come up. And hopefully during the next week or few weeks, more things will come to mind, which is really nice, because then you get to really celebrate the year, let the year go with knowing that there was some good stuff in it. And then we're going to allow that to seep into the body. So we're embodying the feeling of ease and joy and unexpected loveliness. And that's our celebration. It's embodying that. It's teaching the nervous system to pay attention when life is good, because what we we focus on. So we're retraining the awareness and the nervous system. But we're doing it without the intention to change anything, without the intention to achieve anything, so that it becomes easy and you can't do it wrong. And that keeps us out of the trying hard, the pushing to achieve, and the judgments and the shoulds and the oughts, and I'm not good enough. So, are you ready? So, my first question to you, and you're either using the answers from the pause to take stock exercise, the last episode, or not, because it doesn't matter. So whatever comes to mind now, whatever, just let the kind of, it's like the cream coming to the surface. It's the best stuff coming up. Just see what comes up and notice if it feels easy or difficult, and then notice that neutrally. So if the mind gets involved with judgments, oh, you're not very good at this, there's nothing to celebrate, notice that too, because it's all useful information. It's all an increase in awareness. So the first question is, what are you most proud of in 2021? What are you most proud of? And notice if your mind goes immediately to, well, I've got nothing to be proud of, I never finished that, I didn't complete this didn't happen, I didn't reach that goal. Notice all of that. Put that to one side. And then I'm going to invite you to just re-listen. What are you most proud of? So it could be getting through some really difficult times. It could be letting go of something. It could be something that you think, well, I ought not to be proud of, like changing a relationship. So people come into our life and they go out of our life, and it can be difficult to let go of friendships that were once nourishing. But actually being able to do that is a real skill. So if you've managed to let go of a friendship or a relationship that was no longer good for you, could you be proud of that? So what I'm trying to do here is to break down the idea that you have to do the traditional achievement thing, and are just allowing anything. What are you proud of? Allow yourself to be proud of yourself. And then I invite you to pause this if you want to journal this out. Otherwise, we're going to keep going. What lessons are you glad to have learnt in 2021? What lessons are you glad to have learnt? It's worth paying attention to lessons learnt, because if we don't, then we're going to have to just learn them again, aren't we? So this is quite a difficult question. It might take a bit more thinking. So if anything comes up, jot it down, or if you're not jotting it down, just allow that to mull, and then just allow that question to be with you for the week if it feels good for you. What lessons have you learned? Because if you can identify the lesson, you get to keep it, and that's really nice. That's like going through life as if it was a game, and each lesson is picking up some points or jewels or treasure on the way. So identifying that and noticing it is really nice, because then you get to keep it. And the next question, what, if anything, do you love or accept about yourself now that you didn't this time last year? So what, if anything, do you love or accept about yourself now? Now, this is a lovely, lovely question. I'm inviting you to really identify some very personal things to celebrate. Might take a while, might be a lot of judgment to just put to one side. That's okay. Just see what comes up now, if anything, or just let the question drift over you during the week. What were your most unexpectedly lovely moments? What were your most unexpectedly lovely moments? And the thing is, with what we're doing at the end of this episode with the neutral noticing practices, you only need one thing, and that's enough to pause to celebrate. You only need one thing. So it could be something really, really simple, some unexpectedly lovely moment. What are you most grateful for? Now, gratitude is an excellent practice, well researched. However, for a lot of us, it brings up, well, I ought to be grateful for this, but I don't feel grateful for it. So instead, I invite you to answer it honestly. What are you most grateful for? And I know for me, for a long time, it was not having to go back into a classroom where I was really struggling, having once been able to teach really well, and then having felt like I was broken by the system, by the stress, and then really not being able to get any control of a classroom and being on the verge of tears or in tears. Horrible, horrible, horrible place to be. And for me, for a long time, it was, thank God I don't have to go into a classroom. Now it's, woohoo! I found what I really, really want to do. But I'm still really grateful, actually, to not be in a classroom. And that's okay. So see what comes up for you. And then the final question is, who are you most grateful for? Who? So if you had who's in your what, that's just two different ways of looking at it. So just see what comes up for you. Who are you most grateful for? And for me right now, recording this, getting to speak to you, I'm really grateful for you. That you're here listening to this, to me, is magical. So I'm grateful for you. Thank you for being here. So now I invite you to either pause and carry on journaling these out, or to just allow one or two of those things, or all of them, whatever comes to mind. And then if you're not driving or in charge of heavy machinery or puppies, I invite you to just be still for a moment and close your eyes and allow all of your attention to go down to your feet and feel your feet on the ground. Allow your belly to soften if it wants to. And if it doesn't, that's okay. Just notice. Feel your feet on the ground. Softening belly or not. Maybe allowing the shoulders to move away from the ears if they want to. And if they don't, that's okay. Just notice how you feel in this moment as the year turns. And then bringing to mind anything from 2021 that feels nice, that feels good, however small, however big, and however many things. And then dropping your attention away from your mind and the memories from the mind and allowing your attention to go into the body. and noticing how those things feel in the body. Or not. And then allowing any really nice feelings, if you have them, to do with the things that you want to celebrate, allowing those feelings to spread through the body, all the way down the arms to the fingers, all the way up into the head, all the way down across the chest, down the back, over the shoulders, into the belly, all the way down the legs to the feet. So the whole body has this lovely feeling of ease, joy, love, gratitude, or just whatever it is to you. Don't worry about labels. And if your mind gets involved or there's external distractions, just choosing to just ignore any of that for now and just focus on any really good feelings in the body, allowing this feeling of celebration to spread through the body so that every cell in the body is resonating with this feeling, whatever that means to you. And maybe even introducing this lovely Qigong practice, smile from the heart. So if I invite you to drop into your heart space, the center of your chest, and notice any physical sensations there or not. And if I said to you, smile from your heart, what would that mean to you? Just notice. I invite you to smile from your heart or not. And then you can stay as long as you want with these lovely feelings of celebration. Woohoo! For the good things in 2021. And then I will see you next week for part 3. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Overwhelm is Optional podcast. If it sounds like your kind of thing, then I invite you to go on over to heidimark.co.uk/the 1 minute mark and get hold of my free audio so that you can get started on your journey out of overwhelm to creating a life that works for you, instead of just working really damn hard trying to find a way to squish yourself in a life that isn't really working for you. So that's Heidi Mark with an E on the end, .co.uk/the 1 minute mark. Thank you for listening, and anytime you feel like subscribing, sharing, liking, commenting, it's so helpful. It finds other people find this podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Overwhelm is Optional podcast. If you'd like the free accompany workbook that goes with the Turn of the Year series, then please go to www.heidimark.co.uk/pause.